Similarly to how Marvel has their own version of Hercules, the same goes for their version of Thor. The same can be said for their version of Morgan Le Fay, the one from Arthurian myth. She seems to be a character associated with magic, witchy, dark stuff. She's even gotten in tussles with Scarlet Witch and things of that sort, them two clashing and everything when it comes to might. But let's go ahead and get into Marvel's version of Morgan Le Fay. You guys already know the deal. Since she's a magical type character, she's extremely versatile when it comes to a lot of different ways she can mess you up with energy projection, trickery, illusions, blah, 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 you name it. There's a lot of different ways you can look up information about her. She's a half human and a half fairy, hence the name of Le Fay. The fairy themselves are an ancient race of humanoid beings with supernatural powers who originally in an extra-dimensional world that borders upon Britain and Ireland on Earth. They are closely related to the Dark Elves of Svartalfheim, one of the 9 realms of Asgardian cosmology, like Malekith and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. She learned the arts of sorcery from the greatest wizard of her time, from the 6th century, Merlin, which is why she's so proficient in magic. It's stated here that Morgan Le Fay, notice how she's casually doing telekinesis here. She stated she's the greatest witch in all of Britain's history. There's a lot of fictional beings that take inspiration from the folklore of Merlin, a top-tier magic user, legendary entity. There's even anime versions of Merlin that's a female that's the best sorcerer in her verse, like in the 7 Deadly Sins anime. Clearly the inspiration from the folklore. Narratively speaking, in Marvel continuity, she's actually one of the few beings that is a candidate to be a replacement for Doctor Strange as Sorcerer Supreme, so you know she's a top-tier magic user. In this occasion here, you can see Doctor Strange give her props about her powers, saying, Doctor Strange said Morgan is as powerful as she boasts. I mean, all that makes sense because it's literally stated in her lore she's one of the most powerful sorcerers in Earth's history. Her magical powers are derived from 3 major sources. As a fairy, she possesses innate personal powers such as the ability to control minds, astral projection, manipulate magical energies, often through spells, incantations, ancient Celtic origin, and she can also get better via practice. She has ability as a high priestess of Earth, goddess guide, to receive power from her by invoking her Celtic name, and not all of her powers have been documented. She can manipulate natural environments of Earth and environment of the astral plane on which she now exists, cast illusions, protect mystical bolts, create mystical force fields. You're probably going to see a lot of this in this video. Can fly, healing, and she's definitely a part of that King Arthurian lore, like how Marvel always adds in other mythologies in their own way or fashion. She's also a sea priestess. You got cases like this that pretty much confirm she's a sea priestess as well. Oh yeah, fun fact. Like, you know how Marvel incorporates a lot of myths and stuff in their own lore and stuff from all different types of mythologies and religions? When it comes to Gaia, the Marvel lore, Morgan Le Fay actually worships her, by the way. You can see how the way she talks about how, by the power of Gaia, like she's really bonded with Gaia, the half-fairy sorceress Morgan Le Fay. She can access Celtic and Asgardian magic. It's hard to kill her for good. I mean, when you can go in spirit mode and go in somebody's body and basically resurrect like this, it's kind of hard to kill her for good. She augments herself with magical items, such as the Darkhold, the Ebony Blade, the Evil Eye, the Sword Excalibur, you know, the Arthurian sword, Norn Stones, which is Asgardian type artifact stuff, and then Twilight Sword, you know, that's from Asgardian because of Surtur and stuff. Got her own sword to channel her own power in. Just a lot. Let's get into it. For one, she can use her raw power to suck in souls, to summon a being known as the Wicker Man. Beings like this, she can just summon on a whim. A vast cave of magical energy, one which draws demonic life by sapping the life force of hapless mortals trapped within it. This being Morgan Le Fay can summon can do this to Doctor Strange and Valkyrie with a blast. And this being did this to a powerhouse like Doctor Strange. Somebody we know has auto shields and protects himself from stuff like this all the time, got blasted on one shot. Using gear on certain occasions like the Circles of Sidorak or the Rings of Sidorak to bind Doctor Strange and Black Knight. Morgan Le Fay has her own castle that has a crazy amount of black magic. Call it Castle Le Fay. Well, back in these earlier comments, she had her own castle. Can you see the way it looks here in this particular situation? Doctor Strange, one of the best magical people's opinion about if her magical castle was to come all the way in this area, it would transform the entire Earth into Celtic netherworld. So it's confirmed she has magical stuff that can affect things on an Earth-wide scale, her castle. This is how the Marvel Earth looks when it comes to the different continents, by the way. So as you can see, Atlantis is pretty freaking big. And it's a continent-sized place. Despite its massive size, it was her magic that recently restored Atlantis to the surface, raising all of this up. So one can say her magic is mighty enough to raise up continents. Yeah, they do call it continent, by the way, when it comes to Atlantis. And even her electromagnetic force grid in which she shields and protects you from attack. When they talk about the force field, it's an electromagnetic power grid harnessing the very forces of Earth's magnetosphere, using Earth itself as defense. Can command her own army of the dead, basically. Magic people have this habit of summoning help on the spot. You don't have to worry about only fighting them, but random minions that might pop up. She can steal knowledge and skills, spy on people like Dr. Doom without them even knowing what's going on. Magic users with prep time is pretty scary because she can do stuff like this, like use this warders, for example, to show the secrets of the enemies, show her how to best them in battle. She uses different souls to fight Spider-Woman in this occasion. Transmutation, like turning a bird into a dragon or hawk into a dragon. She can teleport stuff, even big castles, even if it's her own. This is what makes these magic people so weird. Astral projector, teleporter type characters. I mean, they can enter places that nobody else can enter. People thinking you're dead or trapped somewhere, they're not. She summoned creatures to where even Spider-Man level beings had issues harming them, period. Narrated she was overpowered. This is just a magical being type trope. She can just summon a whole bunch of stuff to attack the different heroes all the way around different parts of the world. Cincinnati. She's literally invasion material starter pack. Like if she wants to do an invasion, she will have all of you busy. And knowing heroes, they're going to have to try to save the civilians, so it's going to keep them busy just trying to keep the civilians safe. San Francisco, Queens, Bronx, everywhere. Vegas, Denver. She can even summon so much hordes, even Doctor Strange said he can't do this forever. She can summon things that are like this giant dragon monster that looks like it's about the size of half of a city or thousands of buildings. That's wild. You want to get another view of it? Yeah. It's so big, it appears that buildings are on its head. You still sleeping on Morgan Le Fay? I would advise you not to. The very reason she's able to invade Earth so good is because she's able to amass a crazy amount of army from the dead to prepare for war that march in the name of Morgan Le Fay. One could say an entire dimension's worth, which is why her army seemed almost limitless. That's why they was all over the world. Like, she loves having armies fight for her without her actually fight, like animating armor to fight you, in this occasion with Spider-Woman. She loves her legions and armies and stuff, but check this out. You still ain't gonna outnumber her if you get her by herself. She even said you won't outnumber her so easily. She would have split herself into three. Maiden warrior, beautiful sorceress, and a wise witch. All of them technically being her. I already mentioned in her bio how she can manipulate the earth itself. This is fitting because she worships Gaia. If you're wondering why she has blonde hair, she can go in other people's bodies. That's why she might look different. So one can say she has punching power because one can say she can summon giant avatars out of the earth to punch you, like on occasions like this. Or one can say she has blast power to where she can literally create her own tornado, the power of a raging wind. You can literally see her do the standard energy blast to blast out windows, you know, the standard stuff, and even floating. She'll even use melee weapons like a sword if she has to. I like this picture of her from Smite, don't judge me. It goes like this. She can put her power and soul in the sword. She's not that strong. Why don't we just speed blitz her before she can even cast anything? Which is probably what you're thinking, right? Morgan can literally stop time. Why isn't anyone moving? She doesn't even have a physical form and she still can do stuff like this. I wonder for how long. But yeah, stuff like this just makes her busted. They even go as far as saying, we are both beyond the grip of time. So good luck trying to speed blitz her. I mean, she even manipulates time to the point where even time traveling, where she was about to mess up Doom as a kid, you betrayed me, she says. Her time manipulation is, one could say, the reason why it's hard to just take her out all the time. Like, it's hard to just keep her down permanently. Like, people can literally rip her apart, rip her head off, but it's just not that simple. Even if you're a powerhouse like Sentry, because she's not from this time. Even if you kill her here, she can come back from my time in the far past and destroy you. Do it again, and I'll come back to your childhood and remove you from existence, blah, blah, blah. Thanks to her knowledge with the Darkhold, she learned time-weaving spells. She can find a previous body of herself lying unconscious in her ancient castle and awaken her, and they become one. And we shall rule in this century where magic has been all forgotten. How do you create a crazy level illusion to where everyone thinks you're Morgan, right? Like in this occasion, Morgan Le Fay literally fooled Spider-Woman into thinking she was Morgan. She said, I am not, and that was the magic words to keep her ensnared to actually believing she actually is Morgan, completing the enchantment. She can just straight up manipulate the world around you to make you see what she wants you to see, illusions. One can say genjutsu like from Naruto. Let me stop. You got to worry about her being able to stop time. You got to worry about her actually being able to go in your head, telepathic type stuff. Messing up Spider-Woman here. can make telepathic illusions, control multiple inhumans with her power, enslaving their mind. She's not controlling weaklings, guys. She's controlling some strong ones. When it comes to beings that usually have mind resistance, thanks to her special connection with Gaia, she can even tell beings like Thor what to do because thanks to the power of Gaia. One could say controlling the symbiote to turn against you. That's how you got to look at it, really. Captain Carter is a thing in comics, by the way, and Morgan Le Fay likes mind manipulating beings like this. If you're a comic reader, you know about the rule of never fighting a Hell Lord in their realm. Fight him on Earth. He's still a beast and powerful. You still don't want to fight him here. What you don't want to do is fight him in his realm. That's kind of the rule of thumb when it comes to Morgan Le Fay. You don't want to fight her in the astral realm, because in that place, her magic is supreme, implying it is better than when she's on Earth. You really don't mess with her in the astral plane. There's a reason why she's an Avenger level threat in these books. She even says anything's possible in her domain. She literally makes a body out of the very realm of the astral itself to physically fight, and even it's implied powerhouses like She-Hulk have hard time getting out of her grip. One can say you got to fight the astral realm itself. I mean, look how she grips She-Hulk here. It takes literally She-Hulk and Scarlet Witch to work together hitting her. But yeah, breaking this apart doesn't necessarily mean you won against her, because you cannot defeat her from mere physicals. Thanks to it's too many of them working together in this situation. You know what I mean? Speaking of astral plane, she be astral projecting, throwing people off balance and stuff, flying. One can say a way of going intangible. Dr. Doom is a being that's all about gaining knowledge, whether it be magic or scientific. And since Morgan Le Fay is a legendary magical figure, you know, Dr. Doom has actually used magic that he got from her. Massive amount of army summoning. You know Morgan loves summoning her army. Usually when you see a character summon armies, a lot of them be fodder, but for some reason, Morgan spells, she knows how to summon entities that are actually not fodder and even give powerhouses issues. You see Wonder Man? But of course they are more of a threat in numbers. The fact that he can summon this, and this is a Morgan thing. Oh, you think I'm joking? In the castle Morgan Le Fay, he actually visited. Morgan Le Fay said, show me how to build an army. You know she's powerful when beings like Dr. Doom saying, teach me stuff. And evidently it paid off, because even powerhouses like Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, even beings like Wonder Man get incapacitated. I think anybody that pulls up on Dr. Doom with blast power and messes him up, I mean, look what she does to Dr. Doom's armor with her blast because of Morgan Le Fay. She simply froze his armor. Mystic barriers have hold of him. Can't move to conjure a counterspell. Not joking, Doom was literally immobilized to where somebody had to come in and save him at the last second because Morgan's that powerful. Is automatically considered a top-tier magic user. She's at the top of the food chain. You may see Dr. Doom visiting her in newer stuff, but this is not like the first time type of occasion. Dr. Doom be regularly going to her for magic stuff. Doctor Strange even calls her incredibly powerful. And you guys remember of the different artifacts she uses, like in her biography that I showed earlier, one of these many artifacts being the Norn Stones. Guess what she does with it? She loves her summoning Midgard serpents, frost giants to fight the Avengers, army style. She loves summoning her army to help her fight. She needs an army when she's fighting powerhouses like the Avengers, and these armies are not like weaklings. Yeah, so you've seen the Norn Stones, but what about some of the other stuff like the Twilight Sword, things like that, right? With prep time and the right magical stuff, mixing in the knowledge she has, she can do some crazy feats when it comes to reality, especially when you add in prep time. Also using the might of Scarlet Witch to help empower her. Stuff like this allows her to cleave the sky, cleaving reality. You can see how the panels portray it, like cleaving everything away. This kind of stuff reminds me of Dr. Doom, of how dangerous he is with prep time, giving him ancient weapons or outside sources. That's how Morgan Le Fay is. It just kind of shows you how strong Scarlet Witch is too, using her power on top of her Celtic power and the myths behind magics of the sword and reordering all of reality to our will, implying that she was changing reality on a universal scale. Imagine multiple galaxies getting reshaped, billions of solar systems and thousands of solar systems and stuff like that just being reshaped. Speaking of powers, when it comes to Wanda, we all have respect for Scarlet Witch. It was stated that Morgan Le Fay's powers are blocking Wanda's. She can use the souls of entities or very powerful entities like Triton to make big chunks of land rise up, like this temple, for example. Like, it's not an exaggeration. You see stuff arise using your soul or mystical energies from his sacrifice to actually summon the medieval birthplace from its watery grave, the ancient kingdom of Avalon, which was destined to be ruled by Morgan Le Fay. Merlin, the legendary magical figure that is in pretty much a lot of different forms of fiction, different universes in fiction making their own versions of Merlin. Like I mentioned earlier about how the Seven Deadly Sins one has their own version of Merlin. she's able to stalemate somebody that taught her a lot of stuff about magic. 6-day battle to show she's up there with the top magicians. The crazy part is she's powerful without outside help though, because when it comes to powerhouses, who she can affect with her magic, despite a lot of powerhouses having resistance to hacks or transmutation, being powerhouses like Ares got turned into stone by Morgan's blast power energy projection. For her to be able to affect top tiers like this with hacks and stuff like that, that's kind of scary. Do you remember that Elder God level being that was giving Scarlet Witch all this trouble? Someone that's ridiculously powerful and Scarlet Witch had to absorb into her being to contain this being. Morgan Le Fay got in that interaction with a being like this. The being known as Chthon, Scarlet Witch even stated, and as a scary threat to Scarlet Witch even said a threat that can annihilate all of mankind. Chthon was pretty strong, I ain't gonna lie. Even she knew she couldn't control somebody like Chthon, so there was no point in summoning him. But it's still incredible that she was able to imprison somebody like this into the Haunted Mountain that would be known as Wundagore. Doctor Strange, one of the mightiest artifacts in Marvel history, Eye of Agamotto. You can get some information on the Eye of Agamotto right here real quick. Guess what? Even the Eye of Agamotto has a little difficulty in putting someone's soul back after it's been separated by Morgan. Wreaks all this havoc with her army and her raw power, bulldozing through Asgard. She has the raw blast power to blow up heads if she feels like it, if you get in her way, blow him up. But for the most part, everybody, that's just about going to do it. Whatever she lacks physicals, she makes up with her magic. She doesn't really need physicals because she can do stuff like this that can restrain characters like She-Hulk. So why does her physicals even matter when she can make the entire astral realm something physical to punch you with, or make the earth itself punch you? You know what I mean? I mean, somebody that can make duplicates of herself, lead entire armies that can take down powerhouses, take down Doom. Even Doom goes to her for magic lessons. She has magic power up there with the powerhouses of Marvel when it comes to magic, so she can definitely destroy the Earth by default. I even stated in this video, even shown to be on some Team Buster status to where she invades the entire Earth and all the heroes, even powerhouses, have issues with her by herself. Use the magic users that are on your side to her benefit to siphon off their power to use against you. Somebody that Dr. Doom be going to learn new stuff from, you know she's a beast. But before I get going, thanks for the donations, everybody. It helps out a lot. Respect, Morgan Le Fay from a Marvel comic. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.